What's up, Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, and welcome into another edition of MVP Sports Live right here on Twitch.tv or YouTube.com. I am joined, as I always am, with my beautiful co-host, Dave Oster.
Hey, everybody.
Dave, I feel old. I felt old when I should have just said YouTube, not YouTube.com. Like, who adds the .com after it?
Drop the.
The YouTube. We're on the YouTube, just like the Facebook.
Yeah.
The Book of Faces. But we got a jam-packed show today talking some breaking news on both fronts. Breaking news in the NFL, breaking news in the NBA. World Series starts tonight, so we'll make a quick pick on that. What?
NFL news is breaking today.
Tua named the starter.
That's not breaking. That happened like 12 hours ago.
I mean, when it dropped, it dropped. It was breaking news earlier today. I mean, ESPN, when it came across my phone, said breaking news.
I thought something happened recently. I was like, dude,
no, just breaking news that happened today. It didn't happen like right now. NBA and NFL style. Before we get into everything, though, join the Discord. Link down below in the description on YouTube or in Twitch chat. !Discord gets you into that great community. If you want to support us, go to patreon.com/MVPvids, but you can also support us by throwing us a sub on Twitch, where we are live every Monday through Friday, twitch.tv/MVPvids. And we're also on YouTube at MVP Sports, so go subscribe to us there as well. Dave, the very first thing we're talking about today, though, is there was a football game last night. It was between the Cardinals and the Cowboys. There were two, but we kind of talked about Chiefs-Bills at the end of yesterday because it wrapped up right when we finished the show. The one we didn't get to talk about were Cardinals and Cowboys were, oh shit, did the Cardinals just blow the Cowboys right out of the water. 38-10 was the final score.
Have no talent on that defense.
Mm-hmm.
It was a close game to start. You have to admit. I saw the score. I was like, okay, nobody's getting really any traction here to start this game. It is just two shitty teams playing each other. All of a sudden, Kyler Murray just...
Yeah.
And it's over.
Yeah, I mean, it was 0-0 at the end of one, and then three quick touchdowns from the Cardinals made it 21-0, and they didn't look back from there.
Yeah.
No,
it was a really impressive game, but the Cowboys just suck.
I just look at it like I wanted the Cowboys to lose only because now I think for sure the NFC East is going to have like a 6-10 team make the playoffs this year because like Andy Dalton, I wanted Andy Dalton to succeed because like the great comeback story of like he gets bumped from Cincinnati for Joe Burrows. Now he's in Dallas getting his shot with the Dak Prescott injury. Didn't have a bad game.
$100,000 in contract with that game.
Yeah, it's like he didn't have a bad game. I mean, the two interceptions probably his the biggest like red on his sheet. Like it didn't help that Zeke only got 49 yards in that game on 12 carries.
I mean, the offensive play was shit. It was absolutely atrocious. They only got that giveaway drive at the end of the game, which Amari Cooper, thank you for your points at the end of the game for fantasy owners out there. But like at that point, it felt like everybody was just pretty disgusted and didn't want to be there anymore. That Cowboys team just sucks. I'm gonna keep saying because that's all I can think about. Is just like that Cowboys team sucks. Dak Prescott's gonna earn about $700,000. I'm sorry, $700 million, not thousand. $700 million. Because there's no way that after watching that game, Jerry Jones like, yeah, we could turn it over with a new quarterback. It's a team game. It's not a quarterback game. Now you watch Andy Dalton out there and you're like, so we were the most productive offense in football. Now we're even close.
Yeah, and like for me, fantasy wise, I am as a CeeDee Lamb owner, I'm a little nervous after yesterday's game with Andy Dalton out there. I was like, okay, they connected well in the game. Dalton came in when Dak got injured against the Giants, but after last night, I'm like, okay, is this going to change anything? Today on the 105.3 The Fan in Dallas, Jerry Jones said, I'm not in a feel-good mood, frankly. That we've got manna from heaven being in the East. I don't know what the fuck that means. These things have a way of evening out as you go along. Certainly the NFC East is having its challenges now. When you're not playing better than we are, it's hard for me to basically look at the end game, which is win the East, and get excited that we're better. That we may be slow, but we're ahead of you syndrome. We've got to get better and have the kind of season that makes sense for us. I also find it funny that Mike McCarthy was brought in to be like, hey, we're going to kickstart this offense, but, maybe it is, hey, this isn't going to work if Dak isn't out there. So we're going to have to see Andy Dalton if he can get it done in the next game that they play next week. But, Dave, the big football news happening today, it was breaking about 12 hours ago today. The Miami Dolphins have done it. They have named Tua Tagovailoa their starting quarterback for this upcoming week's game. And Dave, the question I want to ask to start out is, number one, is this the right time for it? And number two, do you think Tua is officially ready to take over the reins of the Miami Dolphins?
What a dumb question. No offense. I hope you take offense. Is he ready to take over the reins? Nah. He's pretty much just been chilling on the bench,
Fitzpatrick has been playing well. Like, this is something where it's like a Miami Dolphins team that is 3-3. Do you think you're going to win more games with Tua than you have with Ryan Fitzpatrick out there?
Or did you draft Tua Tagovailoa, top 5 in the draft, and you're like, well, we got a franchise quarterback sitting here who is ready to play, who Ryan Fitzpatrick even said, man, that kid's making throws that I can't make in practice. And you're like, when is it too late to start, your franchise quarterback? I'm watching Joe Burrow do dirty things out there. I'm watching Air Bear looking like the future MVP. And we've got the guy who was, this was the kid for 3 years in college who we've all been waiting for. And he's done nothing but win in college up to his injury. Maybe Ryan Fitzpatrick, the 37-year-old beard, is we're gonna ride it out with him for this.
I mean, let's be honest. Air Bear only got his shot because of it. Like, I get it, the whole injury thing. You got to step up when your number's called. But let's not say Air Bear was like the Chargers. Hey, we're gonna come in and start him. Like, they only started him because they had to.
He's fucking slinging it. I know his team's not winning, but he is slinging it.
No, he is.
That's the difference. You can't just sit idly by. Now, the game plan for the Dolphins supposedly was they're going to wait till the bye week, which was week 11. Yeah. Guess what? Coronavirus. Bam!
The bye week came early.
Which means Tua time. It's just, it is what it is. It's not their fault that the bye week got moved up, but that was the plan all along. And Tua obviously got 2 throws. He looked pretty fucking good in that rollout. So they're like, well, that's our guy. You know what? We got no problem. And I think the whole team is like, yeah, we got, again, I gushed yesterday about how Ryan Fitzpatrick, great locker room guy. He's the expert you want having around there. If there's anybody you trust behind like an Alex Smith type, he's in that same grouping of like, he can go win you games if you need him to, but he's not going to cause trouble. He's a great locker room kind of guy. So I think it just makes perfect sense that Tua finally gets his chance to start. I'm still disappointed in start Tua from the get-go. I don't know that the 6 weeks helped him as far as his health, because he said he was good to go before the season started. He was like, hey, I'm ready. I can start today.
Yeah, but like, so to me, it's like it almost doesn't matter what the player says in this case, because like even where we look at the Devonta Adams, first there's like what we saw with Devonta Adams, where it's like, I feel like my body's ready to go, but the team doctors say I'm not.
But Tua was medically cleared.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's like that's the situation. It's also on the coaching, where it's like Brian Flores as the coach had to look at this team. And yes, you drafted Tua high to be the franchise guy. But the thing with this team is, if I was the coach, I'm looking at it, it's like, okay, we're not Cincinnati. We're Cincinnati. The only reason, like Joe Burrow, number one's a little different too. Where like you draft a quarterback number one, sitting them week 1 is really fucking hard unless you got like Tom Brady. Unless you're like the Warriors in the NBA who magically get a number 1 pick. If like the Bucks magically got it and it's like, oh, Tom Brady's ahead of you, that would be a different story. But like they had Ryan Fitzpatrick. Let's go out there, roll out with the veteran. We do not need to win right now. We do not need to go to the Super Bowl this year.
They're not ready.
Yeah, it's like this team isn't ready. So, like, I understand not starting him week 1. To me, when we had talked about it in the preseason, when we made our predictions, I was around the side of, I wanted to say week 9 or week 10 is where I was going. Because, like, to me, I was high on the Rams and that defense. That's going to be a big, like, I know he gets an extra week to prepare for it, but that is what I'm most intrigued for in the week 8 matchup with Tua, is your first official start with the Dolphins. You've got Aaron Donald on the other side. You've got to go up against that kind of a player on the other side of the ball. And Miami doesn't have the O-line isn't like the Bengals is, but it's not the best O-line. There was a lot of rollouts with that Jets, even though it was one series. And like, he looked good in that one series at the end of the game with the Jets. But number one, end of the game, kind of trash time. The Jets knew, like, they were getting blown out. They weren't going to come back and win. Plus, it's the Jets defense. We've memed the Jets to death with how bad they are. That I kind of feel like this is something where I'm not saying it's the wrong decision to start them, because obviously it was just a matter of fact of, A, when do I as a coach have confidence in him in starting? And 2, with this team at 3-3, the only thing I kind of juggle in my head is, with Tua as a rookie, do you believe that you can continue this success with Tua? Now, if he's slinging it in practice with everything you've said with Fitzpatrick, there's reason for some confidence. Plus, it's Tua Tagovailoa. Look at what he did in college. He obviously has the talent. But will there be rookie mistakes? Will there be games like, even though Air Bear is slinging it out there, how many wins is that attributed to? Like, yeah, he played really good against the Chiefs, but the Chiefs still got the win in the end. Yeah, where
he only lost the MVP of the league, the GOAT of the NFL as an entire organization.
Yeah.
And was it Russell Wilson? Who was the third guy?
I think it was Russell Wilson. I think you're right. Like, I'm not bashing him for losing games.
Or / Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
And the GOAT. He faced the 3 potential best quarterbacks in the NFL.
It was It was Mahomes, Bridgewater, Brady, and Breeze.
Breeze, not Wilson. Yeah. I'm sorry, I was thinking of Breeze. So yeah, he faced 3 of the most elite quarterbacks in NFL history.
Yeah.
Now he can't do anything to stop them.
Yeah.
He can only do what's on his side. Now what he did out there was play near mistake-free football on games where he didn't really have a problem out there moving the ball. So I just credit to him, credit to them for moving the ball. Like, that's the whole thing, is his size, his strength, his ability to stick in the pocket, complete passes, and then also run with the ball and not be afraid to take a little contact, lay a little shoulder into some people. Like, he has the full package. You look at Tua and you go, okay, we talked about this. He literally came in and won a national championship. Like, what more do you want? And then guess what? The next year, he's the best quarterback in college football, or the second best quarterback. Depending on your feelings on where Lawrence was at that point in time. Then the year after that, guess what? What was he starting off as? Best quarterback in college football. Like, he's been so good in the past. There's no reason to believe that he's not going to be good. And that's why I laugh when people are like, yeah, but Ryan Fitzpatrick, do you think Ryan Fitzpatrick is a better quarterback than Tua Tagovailoa? That's my question to you today.
No. Well, no.
Well, then it answers the question. Like, that's what the coach had to do. They want, who's the better quarterback? What is our plan long term?
Yeah.
Our plan is to let Tua Tagovailoa be our starting quarterback, be our franchise quarterback. He's our guy for the next decade plus. Now, what we saw to Ryan Fitzpatrick was, guess what? 3-pick game against New England, 2-pick game against Seattle, 2 games that he single-handedly lost for his team because the offense couldn't get rolling.
Yeah.
Now, did he have some good games to balance out? Absolutely. He was Fitz-fucking-magic in there for a little bit. But again, even against the Jets, he made mistakes. And that's the thing. You can't have a guy continue to make those turnovers. And that the man is a live by the sword, die by the sword man. He was the Bucks QB, you know? Him and Jake, the 30 for 30 bros out there, basically. Like, it honestly felt like it. What Tua will give you is something entirely different. And that's what I'm intrigued about. I want to see him come into this league and succeed. And I think he's got all the tools to do that.
Now, from my tone of things, people are going to say, well, Ricky's probably on the side of he doesn't think this is the right choice. I'm not saying that. This is probably the best choice for the Dolphins to do right now, only because for me, and I think for you too, Dave, I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but I'm going to assume you're on the same side of wins and losses don't matter for the Dolphins this year. It does not matter what the end record is for the Dolphins. Like, if Tua goes out there and wins every game and they make the playoffs, great. But if they lose every game, it doesn't fucking matter because, like both of us said earlier, this team is not built right now to make a run for their ultimate goal, which is to be a Super Bowl champion, because that's everyone's goal. I just wonder if at the end of the season, because like with Joe Burrow, end of the year, no matter what the wins and losses is, no one's going to question if they have a bad record. Same thing with Air Bear out in LA. The one thing that I wondered, I'm not saying this is right, I'm not necessarily saying it's wrong, is will there be, because their schedule, the Dolphins, have an easier schedule where after LA, the Cardinals are a team where if you play like the Cowboys did, Kyler Murray will light you up, but that has a potential to be Kyler Murray versus Tua. Mano-a-mano, let's see who goes out there and slings it the best. Then you get Air Bear versus Tua, a rookie-on-rookie matchup that could be winnable for Tua if he plays very well. And then after that, a Broncos team that is not the best right now, a Jets team that the Dolphins just saw and shut out, a Bengals team that besides Joe Burrows, really that team is nothing to write home about. Then they get their tough stretch of Chiefs, Patriots, Raiders, and Bills, to where I wonder at the end of the year, and you could say this is a stupid thinking, and I'm not saying this is the right thinking, but I wonder if there will be Miami fans, if there will be people that are like, you know what, there were some games here and there that the Dolphins lost under Tua, to where it's like, oh man, if we had Fitzpatrick in, maybe we make the playoffs, maybe we sneak in at 7. I don't think that's the right way to think, because you want a high draft pick if you are the Dolphins.
No, they've got multiple draft picks, because don't forget they have the Texans draft pick from the deal they made a couple years ago.
With Laramie Tunsil.
Yep. I mean, look, they're going to be fine. Think about this. Through the first 6 games of this year, Ryan Fitzpatrick threw more picks than Tua did in the first 2 years of college.
Well, here, now, I'm just going to say this, is there is the caveat of grown-ass men, kids, but yeah, I get your point.
Tua is a quarterback who is so good at football that I feel like people have forgotten it because they haven't seen him play. That's the thing that kills me.
Or they took him for granted at Alabama, where it's like, oh, he's good, but really, if he wasn't on Alabama,
11-2, 43-6, and 33-3 in his 3 years there, and obviously that was 3 full years there.
Yeah,
like those are dumb numbers. 71% completion rating in his final year of college. Like, he was on pace for just dumb numbers, and I just think that anybody who's doubting this is just like never watched college football. They have no credibility and none.
I think
that Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to lead this team to more wins than Tua will this year. Ryan Fitzpatrick knows the NFL better. Ryan Fitzpatrick has more experience and probably can read defenses pretty well. But Ryan Fitzpatrick is so not the right word. He is so.
He's got Brett Favre in him, where it's like, ooh, that's a pin needle. Right. I'm gonna throw it. Fuck it. Who gives a shit?
I was trying to think of the nicest way to put that. Like,
he's a gunslinger.
He's a gunslinger. He will make dumb mistakes and cost your team the game. He's doing what Philip Rivers is doing. Now, that Colts team and this Miami Dolphins team have a lot of parallels. And I think that's what you can look at. And I think that if the Colts had a guy who is as hyped up and as good at football as Tua would, he would have taken over too.
Yeah.
But they don't. They're stuck with Philip Rivers, who just keeps making mistake after mistake after mistake, costing an incredible defense and a decent offense outside of him. Games. And that's the thing. Like, I'm not concerned with Tua costing Miami games. I think this team can still win 8 games this season. It's just they're not better than the Buffalo Bills. I know Buffalo's had a couple tough losses, but like, nobody really thought that they were going to beat the Chiefs. So I'm not concerned with that. It was a bad weather game, and guess what? The Chiefs had the better running back.
Yeah.
Like, Like, oh, it's Buffalo weather up there with the rain and the wind. Like, yeah, it's like going to hand the ball off to Evan Singletary.
Yeah.
Really? No, we're talking about fucking Clyde Edwards-Helaire out there. Like, that's the thing. Like, there's play calling differences, but there's just talent difference. So I think Miami is a very good team. I predicted them to be very good this year. Now, I thought Tua was going to start the season and win a couple more games to start. I thought they were going to be a little hotter out the gates.
Yeah.
Because I had a Tua on my roster. But now that he's taken over today, if you look at the Dolphins' upcoming games, I agree. There's some tough ones, but there's a lot of winnable games. So if you think for the rest of this year he goes, I don't know, what do you think he goes? Where do you think this Dolphins team? What we know today?
I think the Jets are a for sure win. I want to say Cincinnati is too, but at the same time, like that's a game where I honestly feel like that's going to be Tua versus Joe, where whichever quarterback plays better wins that game. I would like to say Denver, New York, Cincinnati are all wins. So I would like to say 6-10, with the only caveat being, okay, how do they play against the Cardinals, the Chargers, the Raiders, the Patriots? To where out of those 4 games, can you sneak 2 wins out of those to go to your 8-8?
Tell me which one of those 4 games that Ryan Fitzpatrick could win you. Because we watched him blow up horribly against the...
I think Fitzpatrick could beat the Raiders and the Chargers. But at the same time, I think...
4 games that you were saying are not...
Ryan Fitzpatrick could win you the Broncos, Jets, and Cincinnati games. I believe Ryan Fitzpatrick and Tua could both win those games.
Right, that's my question. Yeah. So out of the Bills, the Patriots, the Chiefs, and the Raiders, I think... Or no, the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Those are the 4 games you said. Yeah. Which one of those Ryan Fitzpatrick give you a better chance to win?
I think
because we watched him against the Patriots. I don't think that he can carve up the Chiefs. I think the Bills toss up. That pass rush is dirty. I mean, he ate 3 sacks in that game. There was a close game, but he threw the ball 47 times.
I think that it's not a big jump, but it's like Ryan Fitzpatrick maybe gives you, if we're looking at like win percentage, maybe you have a higher win percentage by like 5% to win against the Cardinals or the Patriots. But it's like having Fitzpatrick out there does not leap the needle like in a big way.
I think it goes the other way. I think that Tua gives them a better chance to win all of those games.
You do?
100%.
Shit. Yeah, for me, it's just...
Again, I'm going... I understand people love the narrative of Ryan Fitzpatrick being the fucking A-list Fitzmagic, the beard, everything about him is awesome. But people are... Do we not remember what Tua Tagovailoa did?
Yeah, and I was going to say...
What Burrow is doing now, and you're like, man, that kid was so good in college, and now he's turning it into, excellent performances in the NFL. Like, why are people being like, well, Tua can't play football anymore?
Well, it's like what I was going to say when you were talking about his college time is I feel like there's a little bit of 2017 happened. He won the national championship when they pulled Jalen Hurts and put him in. People skyrocketed the hype for him, kind of like what Trevor Lawrence was.
He won a natty.
Yeah. Then the next year in 2018, that'd be the it wasn't even that he got yoinked. I feel like in the next 2 years, we kind of took Tua for granted because in 2018, it was all about the no, that was his freshman year. The 2019 draft, it was all about Kyler Murray. Like, talking that draft season, it was Kyler Murray and Tua number 1 picks, but it was like, ooh, Kyler Murray's probably going to be the number 1 pick. Then Tua pulled out to where it was like, I feel like people were over-masking Tua with Kyler Murray, even though they were battling like mock drafts number 1 picks. But also there was the rumors of like, hey, the Cardinals are going to go with Kyler Murray. Then last year, yes, the injury happened, but I feel like there were more people being like, ooh, look at what Trevor Lawrence is doing. Let's look at Trevor Lawrence, and not really looking at Tua anymore, to where it's like Tua was still playing great, doing great things, but it was more of the general populace was more of like, ooh, shiny toy Kyler, ooh, shiny toy Trevor Lawrence, and just forgetting about Tua and everything that he's doing and did.
Clemson's a different fucking machine out there. Like, I don't They are the new beat down,
Yep.
school in college football. They're on a different level than everybody else for the last couple of years. I have no doubt in my mind on that. And that's 100% Wiley. Trevor Lawrence is incredible. He's going to be the next Andrew Luck, level talent out there. But I agree. Kyler Murray was the sexy pick because it was like, man, this kid's got incredible speed. He's got a good arm. He's got the ability to go out there and just put the team on his back in critical moments and win games. He was the likable Johnny Manziel.
Plus the Lincoln Riley factor.
It gets results. It's so like you have every reason to root for him, but Tua, like, there's not a fucking reason to hate this guy.
No,
like that's why I keep going back to like, is everybody taking crazy pills? Like he was the best quarterback in college for how long? And then we're just gonna pretend like, well, he hurt his legs, so therefore he's bad at football now.
Yeah,
like his leg didn't make him special. His brain, his arm made him special.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's like whenever you go into draft and talking quarterbacks, it's I will take 9 out of 10 times, maybe even 10 out of 10 times, I will take a quarterback to where what's above the shoulders is way better than what's below the shoulders.
Yeah, we've definitely I've been burned by that. I've made I want to be that guy to be like, oh, spicy pick. Like this guy's got all the talent. Now there's some question mark, but just push those aside for now. Like let's not worry about that. Guess what? It always comes back to fucking hurt you.
Like Baker Mayfield. Is above the shoulders terrible? No, but it's not as good as what it could be. Like
Mitch Trubisky, above the shoulders, not so great.
Below the shoulders, he really blew away Ryan Pace. That's all he had to do, right?
Before Baker Mayfield, who was the other? Johnny Manziel.
Johnny Manziel.
Shoulders, nothing good.
Yep.
Nothing good. Did he have all the God-given talent? Absolutely. Could he have been a star? Could he have been like on par with Kyler Murray? 100%.
Remember that?
He had the talent.
Remember that Texas A&M Alabama game where he ran around a million times in the backfield and just fucking slung it?
Yeah. He did a figure eight in the fucking back 20 yards, circle back up, and a running just and whatever. Like that was just what he could do. But what's above the shoulders matters more. And like that's the thing. I look at Tua and I'm like, I don't know if you can find a smarter kid coming out of college than him in that. So
put Jameis Winston in that category too. Below the shoulders better than what's above the shoulders.
Great call. Athletically on a different level. He can make every throw in football, but can't figure out how to read defenses. He has really poor decision making. And when it comes down to it, maybe he has too much confidence in his arm and his wide receivers or the trust or the timing in that system. Who knows? Number of factors involved. But yeah. So again, I'm not trying to rag on Ryan Fitzpatrick. The man's a fucking you're
just saying put some respect onto his name.
Yeah, that's all I'm fighting for. Yeah. People who have mentioned things like you are trying to bring up to rile me up about what if they're gonna say they could have won more games and they missed out on an opportunity this year. I'm like, no, this is not that. This is not the Steven Strasburg playoff situation.
I'm just trying to look at it from all sides, Dave. What different opinions people may have.
Yeah, I'm with you. I truly do expect Tua to have a fantastic finish to this season. I think the last 10 games he'll do wonderfully, and I really don't have any concerns with it. I think the big thing for Tua is just get that sink in that offense. Like it's a Chan Gailey style offense, and everybody said that that's what he would do best in. I think I heard it earlier today. It was like a lot of shotgun, a lot of time not under center, which gives him the most time to read defenses, to get a clear vision on the routes being run by his receivers, and just have the best possible picture for him, not worry about the footwork day one, although he's had plenty of time now in practice and supposedly doing amazing things there.
Yeah, and I'm excited. Like, I can't wait to see what's going to happen. I kind of feel bad that we have to wait a full week until we see him. Because coming to the show, I was like, shit, I thought their bye was later. I forgot their bye got moved up to week 7 because of COVID. But let's move on, Dave. Let's go into a segment that we love to do here on MVP Sports Live. And this might be, I'm thinking about it. Once the World Series ends, this is not going to be a daily segment anymore because there's not going to be games every day. But these are the dampest of dudes, soggiest of shooters, the moistest of men, and sometimes even the mistiest of misses. These are our wet boys, our players of the day from the day prior. How we do it is Dave picks a wet boy, I pick a wet boy, and then obviously the patrons at patreon.com/MVPvids get to vote on theirs as well. So if you want to support us at the silver above tier and vote on the Wet Boy each and every time we do it, you can go ahead and do that. Get rewarded for supporting us. But Dave, let's go ahead and get into it. Who is your Wet Boy for October 20th, 2020?
My Wet Boy today, pretty easy one. We just talked about him a little bit. I dropped a little mention of the amazing things he can do. It's Kyler Murray. He put team on back due and just had an amazing day. Like, honestly, again, we talked slow start, got to figure things out. But, I mean, once it started gashing that defense, like, he did it with his arm. He did it with his legs. Everything you want to see out of that offense. The only thing I was surprised took so long was getting Nuke involved. Like, it took him until the fourth quarter to get, like, a couple good grabs in there. So, shout out to that offense for just shitting on the Cowboys. And that's exactly what the Cowboys deserve at this point, because they've just made some poor moves and their coaching is atrocious, to be clear. Mike McCarthy, he needs time. Obviously, losing your starting quarterback kind of hurt, but like when that happens, your game plan cannot be Andy Dalton will make X kind of throws to keep you in a game. You have Ezekiel Elliott. I don't know how, but you got to get him going, and you got to keep him going. And that's the thing. Like, I don't know if you go with the you steal a page out of the Titans running book, and you're like, hey, I'm just gonna keep feeding him.
Yeah,
just getting the ball to him, and that's what maybe their game plan should be. It did wonders in the past. Why against this team and the Cardinals didn't it work? I can't tell you, but yeah, they got a lot of stuff to figure out. But this is a celebration for Kyler Murray. Yeah, good job, Ike.
And your boy, like, I had a feeling that I'm like, okay, Dave's going to go with Kyler Murray. I felt like that was going to be the pick for Dave. For me, I'm going quarterback, but I'm going a different quarterback that played yesterday. Dave, your Wet Boy preloaded. I am nervous that mine preloaded. I don't think this is going to be the guy. I think this is still going to be Trevor Lawrence. Oh, it wasn't. It's Pat Mahomes. Okay. No. Maybe OBS doesn't hate me. But so the two reasons why I'm picking Pat Mahomes is not necessarily because of his stats from yesterday, because on the Patrick Mahomes front, pretty pedestrian, like, because we're used to seeing so many great things from Mahomes. Yeah. But there's two things. Number one, Patrick Mahomes is now the fastest quarterback in the Super Bowl era to throw 90 career touchdown passes. His mark of 37 games beats Dan Marino, it took him 40 games to hit 90. So 3 quicker than Dan Marino. And then also a tweet sent out by the Kansas City Chiefs today, 16 straight. Congratulations, Patrick Mahomes. He set a franchise record for 16 consecutive games with a passing touchdown. So setting records out there, fastest to 90 touchdowns, 16 straight games with, I'm trying to think. Would that mean almost every game he's played? Has he had a game where he hasn't thrown a touchdown? Yeah. Like, I'm trying to think about that.
16, then yes, he missed one.
Okay. Yeah, that's right, because 16 would be more than a season. So that obviously means the first 6 of this season, and then 10 last year. So he has had a touchdown ever since week 7 of last year.
All right.
So setting a franchise record there, setting the big record of 90 touchdowns in 37 games. And then Dave, the patrons, they're going with a guy from your game. He's a teammate of Kyler Murray's. They're going with Kenyon Drake. 20 carries, 164 yards, 2 tutties. It's interesting because there's an article I want to take a look at this week when there's like a day that doesn't have a lot, where ESPN they put out an article about different hot seats in the NFL. Not just coaches either, like players as well. Yeah. And Kenyon Drake was a hot seat that they talked about. And I was almost like, did we not see what he did yesterday? Or do we just not think that he's capable of this game in and game out?
It's the consistency problems with him, because Chase Edmonds looked better in less reps. I think 2 times in the last 4 weeks. Okay. So like, that's the problem. When you don't have that consistency, what is your plan of attack out there? So I don't think it'll be a problem. I think that Kenyon Drake has this in him more often than not. Like not like breakout game like this, but like he has 100-yard performances. He has good yak. Like I just don't think that long term he's the guy you want to pair with Kyler Murray. I think they're going to look for a new running back probably in this offseason. I know a lot of the guys we talked about, this laundry list of amazing names that'll be out there. Maybe Lev Bell.
Dude.
Maybe after Lev Bell could be available.
Maybe Lev Bell, but like I'm trying to think. You mentioned a type of running back that I was going to mention. Mine's just going to be a rookie in the draft. I feel like Travis Etienne from Clemson. Matching him with Kyler Murray, like holy shit.
I forgot about Travis Etienne. That man was a little fucking monster. I call him little. I'm pretty sure he's like 5'8".
Here, I'm gonna see Travis.
Man, all I remember was him bulldozing someone, and then just the tiny legs just going and going.
Let's see. He is. I'm gonna look at Clemson's official website. They have him marked down at 5'10", 205. 5'10", 205. So fuck it. That's with shoes. 5'8" without shoes, Dave. We're gonna say the shoes add 2 inches.
Ones when they're like, oh yeah, he's 6'4", but like he measured at 6'1 3/4. Like, yeah, that's welcome to the reality of actual measurement. Yeah.
And then Dave, before we get into the NBA news, just very quickly, World Series picks up tonight. Just so everyone knows, before, because the UFC thing we got kind of bashed for. And I'm just putting this out there for new viewers coming in who might not know us. Dave and I, especially me this season, casual baseball fans. So it's not going to be any like, oh man, we're really picking this one. But Dave, just a gut thing, Rays and Dodgers. Rays to me are the underdogs here because the Dodgers are the fucking Dodgers. But is there any way the underdogs in the Rays finish off this miraculous, like they win the East when everyone thought the Yankees were gonna, then they go ahead and fucking beat the Astros, which everyone was on their side. Everyone wanted the Astros to lose that series. They almost were on the wrong side of history because they went 3-0 on the Astros and then had to go to Game 7 in order to win it. Do the Rays cap off a magical series, a magical season, or is this the Dodgers to win and they get it done?
Did the Dodgers buy themselves a World Series?
When Mookie Betts.
I mean, I saw the contract numbers. Somebody dropped a post about that, and I just started cracking up the amount of money that the Dodgers have invested this season versus the scraps, basically the Moneyball looking team of the Rays. So, the heart roots for the underdog always, but I'm going Dodgers. Everybody's talked about them since, maybe February as being the favorites to win the World Series. They've got the most stacked roster. It feels like it's theirs to lose.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're a team that basically since 2016 have been in this kind of hunt for a World Series where I say 2016 because 2016, they play the Cubs in the NLCS. Cubs beat them. Cubs win the World Series. So that's one team that beat them for a World Series. Then they make it the next year, finally beating the Cubs. They lose in 7 games to the cheaters, A.J. Hinch, and his Houston Astros. Then in 2018, they make it again. They lose to another cheater, and Alex Cora and his Boston Red Sox. So you kind of feel like maybe they got cheated out of 2 World Series.
They're due then. They're clearly due.
Then you had the National year where the Nationals went on their run. And then this year, like whoever wins this World Series, Dave, I am going to go with the Rays in 7. I'm going with the underdogs. But whoever wins, it's either the Dodgers finally punch through and they get their first World Series that they've been vying for the last 4 years, or the Rays cap off a magical year where no one thought that they would be in this situation. So you're going Dodgers, right?
I'll take that. I'll take the big money.
And I'm going with the Rays in 7 games. I think this is going to be a great World Series to watch. Then we'll get into the other breaking news today. The Pacers, Dave, hiring Nate Bjorkgren, assistant coach from the Toronto Raptors. Dave, this was one that when I saw it, and then when I saw the reactions in our Discord, join that link down below, or exclamation Discord into Twitch chat.
Yep.
It kind of caught everyone by surprise because this was a name that nobody had on their coaching radar. It was all about like, oh, Craig from Miami or Wes from Denver or Philly's assistant coach. no one thought that Bjorkgren from the Raptors was on the board because everyone thought, oh, if the Raptors are getting someone poached from them, it's Adrian Griffin.
Yeah, no, I agree. This was a bit out of left field, and just shows how out of touch I think a lot of the rumor mill stuff can be at times. We're not all NBA insiders here. No Woj's around dropping his name, so bit shocking. But I listened to the first 5 minutes of his story.
Yeah,
the guy fucking loves basketball. Like that's what's most clear to me off of that. He's talking about growing up a 4-sport athlete, but really he started off loving baseball. Really grew to love basketball, was lucky to be on great teams. And then as he switched colleges, actually, he met Nick Nurse. Nick Nurse was an assistant coach when he was playing basketball in college. So kind of cool how they first met. But yeah, I have no problem with it. I'm still just trying to figure out, like, okay, what's his bring to the table? What's that quantity that he's going to bring to this Pacers team? Because when you look at that roster, you go, Domantas Sabonis is the staple. What else are you going, like, what's the game plan here? I really like Malcolm Brogdon. They got him to a good deal. Like, okay, so we've got 2 pieces down. Vic demanding trades, supposedly. Miles Turner never seeming quite like he's going to develop any further, so is he on the hot seat to be traded? You got the fucking microwave out there and TJ Warren, who can score you about 45 buckets in no time, but is he good outside the bubble? Who knows? So, like, they've got a lot of decisions to make over there, and I don't really know the identity yet. It's one of those situations where I still got to do a lot of research on this guy before I can really have a great take, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I apologize I didn't have that ready because I didn't know.
Well, I mean, for me, it was it's the same thing because, like, I was thinking about this earlier today after the news broke of, okay, the question that, like, I know we're going to hit in this segment, I was like, we're basically going to, like, ask the question of, was it a good move, bad move? Like, and I'm sitting there going, now I want to have the hot take, like, answer, like when a coaching hire, like when Ty Lue got hired, have that basically right away, this ain't going to work. This was the wrong move, da-da-da-da-da. Or like, this is going to work. This is the best move, da-da-da-da-da. I can't do that. Like, I feel like this is a wait and see kind of a hire because there's so much unknown. Like, yet again, how is it, like, the other thing that comes into my head is, how does this affect the Victor Oladipo stuff? Because this is a coach that, yes, it was Devin Booker's kind of first 2 years in the league, but he has experience with a Devin Booker when he was an assistant with the Phoenix Suns from 2015 to 2017. Like I said, though, that was a young Devin Booker. It's not the Devin Booker that we see right now. So, like, is this a move where it's like, is Vic still on the block? Are they still looking to trade Victor Oladipo? Is Sabonis the main guy, and that's who they're going to go with if they obviously trade Vic? It's just this team, I kind of almost look at it as like, is this a move they make to go ahead and say this is a guy that's going to help us in playoff runs? Or is this a guy they bring in to say, hey, we're hitting the retool? Because this isn't a team, like we talked about the Bulls yesterday, the Pacers aren't a team that has to dive into a rebuild. If anything, they have to dive into a retool to get themselves to the level they need to be. Because let's be honest, they don't have I love Vic, but they don't have a Giannis. They don't have a Jimmy Butler. They don't have a Jason Tatum. They don't have that guy right now to, for me, compete with those teams that are at the top of the East. Like, he could, but do we see that? Like, do we see that next level jump? Like, is that what this is?
If you didn't know, Domantas Sabonis didn't play in the bubble, so we don't have that memory of him as of late. Again, it's that short-term memory that kind of kills us.
But, like, is this a coaching hire that is supposed to help him make that jump to where it's like, okay, we are thinking of him in the JT, Butler, Giannis, kind of like he's the main guy for the Pacers and he's the guy that makes them compete?
Would absolutely love it if that happened. I'm reading through the Pacers subreddit trying to get some takes on what they're feeling. Their answer was, one Nate for another.
That's what I said before the show.
Name Nate is our jam. there's some feedback from some Raptors fans. Lots of positivity about this guy. Best kept secret in basketball as Raptors assistant staff. Always first assistant coach to give Nurse advice during games. Lots of X's and O's. Paid his dues in the G League. I did see that.
Yeah.
He spent a long time coaching the G League. I think he knows a lot about player development.
So did Nick Nurse, though, too. Like
that's a good thing. Yeah. Definitely a good thing for these guys. Adrian Griffin was cool, but Nate was clearly second in line. So that's interesting because on the outside, again, all we had heard was about Adrian Griffin. So again, best kept secret basketball could be.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems like he has been very happily taken in by this Pacers community. So high hopes for him. I don't think the expectation is for him to, again, make this team a championship contender in the next year or two. But I think they've got a lot of interesting pieces that are like good, could be better, could be worse. Like you got to kind of sift through like the roster and figure out who are your core guys moving forward with your new identity. See them taking in something that the Raptors do offensively or defensively. I'd love to know, what he's going to bring over stylistically. So we shall see defensive focused or not.
And Kevin Pritchard, the president of basketball operations for the Pacers, from the ESPN article, he said, "We're very pleased and excited to have Nate as our new coach. This was an extensive and thorough search, and when we reached the conclusion, we felt strongly Nate is the right coach for us at the right time. He comes from a winning background, has experienced championship success, and an innovative, and his communication skills along with his positivity are tremendous. We all look forward to a long, successful partnership in helping the Pacers move forward." And like for me, it's like, of course they're banking on him being the, hey, you come from the Nick Nurse system. Maybe this is a new coaching tree that comes out, the Nick Nurse coaching tree, where it's like, okay, you've been to the finals, you've been to the play, like this is a playoff team. Let's be honest. The Pacers are a playoff team. They need a coach that is going to help them in the playoffs. So like immediately you look at it and you go, well, out of all the assistants that were out there, Denver's assistant could, like the whole playoff thing, he's been to the playoffs, so they could help. You've got the Philly assistant, same thing. He's got playoff assistant experience, so he can help. Maybe Craig's the one from Miami, right?
Yeah, Dan Craig.
Yeah, he was from Miami, and then you had Ham was the one from Milwaukee. Both of those guys, playoff experience. The thing that and yet again, this is me trying to get into the mind of like Kevin Pritchard, is I feel like the thing that is setting him apart from what I see here is the championship experience, because this is an organization that maybe under Nate McMillan, they thought that it was like, okay, Nate's a good coach, but what's the word I'm looking for? The environment or like the attitude of this team could be better. So basically maybe this is hey, we know this is a good team. We've got to retool some stuff. But what he's going to do is he's going to come in with the expectations that Nick Nurse had coming in from basically turning a already good Raptors team, because you look at the Raptors and basically before they won the title, yes, having Kawhi Leonard helps. But before they won the title, it was all negativity from the Raptors. The baby Raptors, LeBron's Raptors, LeBron owns the Raptors, the meteor hit, LeBronto, to where it's like, yeah, Dwayne Casey was good, but hey, we need some fresh blood. And Nick Nurse came in here and basically changed culture. That's the word I was looking for. Changed the culture to where, yeah, is that where Bjorkgren, Bjorkgren, is that what he's supposed to do here in Indy? Offense, championship experience, change the culture into a positive one for the Pacers that have been like run into the brick wall, which is the middle of the East.
I think everything you said there sounds spot on to everything I've been reading. So I'm excited for it. I'm still shocked there's a lot of head coaches, a lot of names we're looking for to be hired, not hired yet. Yep, but time will tell. We still got a couple openings.
What, the Pelicans and the Thunder are the only two, right?
Rockets haven't officially hired
the Rocket. Well, You're right. So we have the Rockets, Pelicans, and Thunder.
Yes.
Right? Because the Clippers hired.
Yep.
The 76ers hired.
Yeah, they did.
Nobody else. Well, the Kings should be open, but they're not.
It's not. The Bulls are filled. The Nets are filled.
Yeah. So shit.
Yeah.
God, I forgot Steve Nash got hired by the Nets. I even forgot that was an opening with how quickly that one just got kind of gobbled up. But Dave, the last thing, it's a shorty here at the end, but we usually end the show if there is some COVID news from the college ranks, and we've got a little bit of something going on here. Where two kind of things, one coming from college basketball, one coming from college football. Do the football one first. Is basically the Colorado State New Mexico game between the Rams and the Logos are canceled due to COVID, due to the prevalence of COVID-19 virus in Bernalillo County, and in accordance with state guidelines, the University of New Mexico is unable to participate in the scheduled football game on October 24th at Colorado State University, the conference said. Therefore, the Mountain West is canceling the game and declaring it a no contest. There is no plan to reschedule it. So basically, God, I love the fact that they made it a no contest, to be honest with you.
Same.
Just like nope, not going to worry about rescheduling it. And I feel like the Mountain West can do that because they're like, no playoff implications.
Yeah. I'm good with the realism. It's like, hey, our tests came back. Our numbers don't look great. We have to do this thing. We're following procedures. That's all I want to hear.
Yeah.
That's exactly the responsible answer to this problem. And that's the thing. I'm just like, okay, cool. So everybody else should be doing the same thing, right?
Yeah, but when you got these Power Fives, they're like, whoa, we got a playoff to make here. Yeah, that's where...
People only let in 25,000 fans for our game because our numbers are a little...
Yeah.
You know?
And then the other news, this isn't technically COVID, but it's big news nonetheless. Yeah. College basketball side, Silvio D'Souza, big forward star from Kansas, is opting out of the upcoming season for personal reasons. Self said in a statement that D'Souza was opting out to focus on matters in his personal life. Self added it became clear in recent workouts that D'Souza was distracted, and after the two had talked recently, it was clear this was the best decision for him in Kansas basketball to leave the program. D'Souza put a long kind of thank you post on Twitter, kind of like how the players do now. They write it in the note, take a screenshot of it and put it up there. This is one where, to me, obviously, we don't know what the personal reasons are. Hope that everything's okay with D'Souza. It's going to be a big hit for Kansas. And at the same time, I wonder how this affects because he was one that I was looking at for, even if it was like a second round pick for next year's draft class. To kind of go out.
Heard about him or reading this article. I remember now was the FBI probe that he got tossed into for corruption in college basketball.
Okay.
And then he paid a 12-game suspension for a brawl against K-State.
That's right. He was a part of the case, but maybe is that it? To kind of, I'm not going to speculate on it. But
no, because these were both past events.
Yeah,
I think I'm going to guess there's something going on with his family. Like he's got to take care of family, and that's great. Like I got no problem with that. Sports are not important in life. Yeah. Like it's a bonus. It's not a requirement.
Dave on the sports are not important topic again. That gets people riled up every time he mentions it. I love it.
I got no problem saying it. It's a bonus of life. You know, if you can have that entertainment, if you can take that opportunity to enjoy that moment, great. But it's not required in life. There are more important things, you know?
But Dave, it's an escape. It takes me away. Keep the politics out of sports, blah, 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 blah. All that stuff. Also, what people say, go woke, go get broke, right? Or something like that.
I've seen the comment section early on. I don't know what the hell they were talking about.
What they mean is it's a fucking statement that was coined by some Republican where it's basically like businesses that like try to cash in on the woke movement. So like for us, it's like, oh, talk about woke topics. Nobody's going to want to listen to you. You're going to go broke. That's basically what it means. Whatever. I say fuck off if that's the case. And that's just me being blunt about it. But
I agree.
A little bit at the end, Discord, join it. Link down below or ! Discord and Twitch chat. Thank you guys for obviously checking us out today. We're live on Twitch every Monday through Friday, twitch.tv/MVP-vids. We're on YouTube as well, MVP Sports. You can support us either subbing to us on Twitch or patreon.com/MVP-vids. Dave and I will be back tomorrow with more sports news and sports topics. Make sure to follow and sub at both of our places to keep track with us. Again, thank you guys for watching and listening. And as always, have a good day, everybody.